So Thomas Massie is giving a 5-finger slap in the face to Donald Trump because the Epstein files are not going to go away anytime soon. And, look, I am ever hopeful that he's going to be sincere in this fight and that he's going to be unapologetic, but we shall see. We shall see. We shall see. We shall see indeed.
Well, I don't think this issue is going to go away. I think it's going to fester over the August recess. I also think it's sort of symbolic of why the American people gave Trump the White House and gave us majorities in the House and the Senate. Is because they believed for so many years their votes didn't matter, that there was a group of people that were untouchable because of their power or influence or money, and that the DOJ couldn't get to them, that no matter who they elected, nothing ever changed, and that Trump would come up here and disrupt that. So the Epstein thing is symbolic, and it encapsulates why people were so excited to vote for Trump. And it's so it's not going to go away over August. I think it'll get stronger, and we needed 7 legislative days for my bill to ripen. We only got 6 before the August recess. So as soon as we come back, I'm going to collect signatures.
I also want to continue us a little bit more because this was also a video that also gained a lot of attention. A force to vote.
Congressman Massie is getting bombarded by the president for continuing to loudly push for the full release of the Epstein files. And he joins us tonight. Sir, it's good to have you back on. Just the first question, why are you pushing so hard?
Well, the files exist. There are some files there. This is not a hoax. I'm convinced, based on the things that the FBI director and Pam Bondi said earlier, and J.D. Vance, that these files are there. I don't think it implicates the president. I think it would be very embarrassing for the rich and powerful in this country and in other countries to have these revelations out there. And that's probably why they're not releasing them. But look, I've introduced a discharge petition, a bill that will get a vote when I get to 218 signatures in the House. It takes 7 days for my bill to ripen. And, guess what? The speaker's putting us on August recess on the 6th day. But this will just pause it. It will resume when we return in September. And that's when I can force a vote on this.
I mean, this has gotten awkward. It's awkward. I think what Johnson is doing with the early recess is uncomfortable. You just said you don't think that the president's implicated. I can't help but agree with you there, because it makes no sense that, again, the previous administration would have let Donald Trump walk right back into the White House. If they had something filthy, they would have dumped it out. But I mean, in your imagination, how ugly could, I mean, for them to do this after all the talk, and for now what looks like they're concealing it, why? I just say, what do you think is really so bad about this? Because they talked it up so much.
Look, there have been plea deals, there have been bargains, there are things we don't know about that we need to know about. There have been payoffs, there's been hush money. I thought the Republican Party was the party of family values, not underage sex rings and sex trafficking. If it's embarrassing, okay, we got to lance this wound. Let's get it out there. This may even implicate some of our allies, some foreign intelligence, for instance, Israel.
Let's see. Hold on. Lots of talk, not so much action. Absolutely. Let's see. What else they got here? LMAO, all the people are all sick. Fs. Absolutely. Let's see. What else we got here? Let's see. Trump is on the list. He partied with Epstein for over 15 years. Shut up, Massie. Look, man, I don't know. Trump knew the guy. I think he knows Trump is in on it and doesn't care. That could be it. What else we got here? It's not a list. There's a collection of files that require investigation and prosecution, which they don't want to do. No, they don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. Let's see. What else we got here? And let's see. William von Vandelstoff. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Saw a bunch of MAGA hat people hanging signs calling Trump a PDF traitors or taters. Oh, wow. Calling Trump a PDF traitors. Oh, okay. So anyone? Okay. Wow. Interesting. Wow. Much wow. Big wow. Let's see. So why is he a Republican? He needs to run independent. Very good question, but probably the reason why is because running as a third party candidate or even as a libertarian, I mean, you're already screwed, even in Kentucky. And maybe its laws are not as draconian as Illinois or New York State, but third party candidates just don't have a chance.
And that's not fiction. That's from a court document that Epstein was attached to intelligence services. That was from an earlier court document from one of his earlier deals. Let's get all this out there. We promised the people this. I think it could be painful. But look, Speaker Johnson, he should understand this isn't just good policy. This is good politics. What are my colleagues hiding? Why do they not want to take this vote? Why is the speaker sending us home early to try and let the air out of this balloon?
I'm not convinced that that there's a broad conspiracy there. I'm still wondering if maybe there's a good reason why there's something that has to be held back. I just don't know why it wouldn't be shared with us, and that's why again it just feels so awkward. I have to ask you this though: for the last 4 years, you haven't been as noisy about this, and this could have been released at any time under Joe Biden. You're teaming up now with Ro Khanna. You're teaming up with people that don't give a damn about these kids and these victims. You're teaming up with people that only care about hurting the president, people that watched as we had so much trafficking of children into this country for the last 4 years with an open southern border. I mean, does that give you pause that those are the people that you're on the side of right now? Because I think Speaker Johnson has a good point about the damage you're doing.
Well, I did publicly ask for these records when Biden was president. I did it 3 years ago and 2 years ago and a year ago. And there are some people on the Democrat side of the aisle who are not sincere at all. But look, I'm not going to get into a partisan food fight over this. If it's what it takes to get these files released, then we'll use the Democrat votes to get the Epstein files. I do believe that my colleague Ro Khanna is sincere in his desire to release these, and you should have him on to find out. But did the Biden administration,
did either of you push this hard? I mean, you're walking around with phase 2 binders through the halls of Congress. Did you push this hard? Did Ro Khanna push this hard back when Biden was in the White House? There was 4 years there.
Well, there were people pushing back, but remember, the Democrats were saying that it was a conspiracy theory. Remember, Democrats were protecting it. I want everyone to understand. And Miss Witchy Perfect writes, they had no intention of releasing these files, just as myself and Snow Himbo predicted. Absolutely. And yeah, Lawrence Fine says, shut the F up. Yeah, but Biden. Look, these files were not going to be released under Biden. To anyone who's out there saying about the Democrats are acting the same way the Republicans are acting, and the Republican Party will act the same way. Click, copy, paste. The Democrats were acting. They're going to make sure that those files are not released. Any information is not released because it makes everybody knew Epstein. All right. Can we just stop it for a second? Let's get real. They all know him. They all knew him. Check out my conversation that I had with Pasta yesterday. You know? Be sure to comment on the video too, because that counts as a view now. I know, I got to keep saying that now. I remember fun, when things used to be fun. Things aren't fun anymore. Everything's getting terrible. We got a government that's trying to hide the most prolific trafficker in international history. Your politicians don't care about you. They don't care about your family or your kids. And I'm keeping that cough in there. They don't care about you. They don't like you. They don't think about you. They don't respect you. Doesn't matter who controls the Senate or House. Doesn't matter who sits in the White House. Doesn't matter who controls the country. Both parties are contributing to the cover up of the most prolific trafficker in international history because their dear leaders, their leadership, the people who are in charge of their parties associated with the man, dare I say it, allegedly could have, maybe, possibly, might have partook in some very illicit and illegal and depraved behaviors and activities, criminal activities. These are grotesque human beings. Now, I am ever hopeful that Thomas Massie will succeed. I want him to. I do. I want him to succeed. The Speaker of the House recessed Congress early yesterday for a month to avoid dealing with the Epstein issue. Boy, it must be nice to go on vacations all the time. Mr. Speaker, the American people won't forget. My legislation isn't going away. It'll be right here when we return, and I'll force the vote. What? I'll force the vote. Whoa, I'll force the vote. What? Say again, I'll force the vote. What is this force the vote? This is pretty crazy here. I'll force the vote using a discharge petition, huh? Force the vote. Well, all right then. He's gonna force the vote. Force the vote. And I hope he is successful. So a month from now, we'll see if Thomas Massie's gonna bring that fight, have that dog in him. But we are now an empire that is falling, decaying from within. How can you install confidence with the people, all the while the people are seeing that this country will defend scumbags, criminals? If you're not furious, you should be. If you're not upset, you should be. Write a letter to your congresswoman or congressman. Call them. Ask them where they stand on the issue about releasing the Epstein files. If I were you, I'd go ahead. Get all your friends and family members. Call them up. Ask them where they stand. You probably won't get a response back, but go ahead. Maybe if each person, from the great people in California to the great people in Hawaii, the great people of Texas, the great people of Florida, the great people of Illinois, the great people of Indiana, the great people of New York State, the great people of Delaware, the great people of Georgia, the great people of North and South Carolina, North and South Dakota, Alaska, Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan. Come on. If 1 million people in each of the great 50 states just called up their U.S. Senator and U.S. House Representative and just asked them where they stand. What a sight it would be if all of us really got together and really held the people who are causing all of our problems accountable. I mean, these politicians are going to cover up and tell you to shut up and stop talking about this trafficker that knew Democrat and Republican politicians. If there was ever a moment where every U.S. citizen is at a bar and there's that one person causing a problem, and we all just need to get up, drag that SOB behind the bar and kick their teeth in, this is that moment. This is that moment. This is that moment. So time out for a second, everybody. Stop hating on each other and let's look at the real problem. Because, you know, I am hopeful that Thomas Massie will succeed, but he's only one person. What a sight it would be if millions upon millions of Americans just stop what they were doing for 1 minute and not do just a King's March. It's like a regular protest, just like, oh, we're going to protest against Trump. But we actually have a goddamn follow through and shut down and hold those bastards in D.C. accountable. I mean, what a sight it would be if this country actually did it. It would be a very good bonding moment. We all want to punch a bad guy, right? Well, I'll give you a hint where the bad guys are at. A little-known place in a swamp. Once you walk in it, it's going to stink because it's rotten, it's decayed. It's a place called D.C. It's one of these moments where I know I'm right. What a sight it would be if we all got together and stopped them.